The history of this sanctuary goes back to my parents when they came to Kenya in just prior to independence. My father was sent by the bank to set up the ABN Bank branch, that's the Dutch National Bank. My mother came in with her parents and they were being relocated to Kenya at the time, and they met here in the early 50s. My father, after a while with the bank, after setting up the first branch in East Africa, he decided to go and do business alone. He was an enterprising Dutchman and was very determined to explore the opportunities that this beautiful country offered.
We basically have two conservancy areas, which is the sanctuary itself, which is fenced entirely. And then in between the sanctuary and Hell's Gate National Park is a game corridor. Now the two properties combined measure about 23,000 acres. Now the total population of game within the two properties is something in the region of 6,500 animals as per the last census. Now the sanctuary on its own has about 5,000 animals, and the corridor has a fluid game population that is forever moving between the lakefront, which is part of our corridor, and the dispersal land beyond it, which is Hell's Gate National Park. And ideally the animals could go all the way to Longonot National Park. Generally we have about 32 different species of animals, which includes some introduced animals that must have been here many years ago, but for one reason or the other, or mainly due to land use changes, some animals were displaced. It started as a hunting block many years ago. And then when they put a ban on hunting, the land became a cattle ranch. And then after that, it became a wheat farm. Now for the last 15 or 16 years, it has been dedicated purely to conservation, and we've seen the game population more than triple. We have a good population of rhinos, we have the very endangered gravy zebras, and quite a good and diverse population of the plains animals, including buffaloes, antelopes, and a good population of carnivores. We have a well-structured land formation for dispersal, so the animals are able to disperse off onto the higher ground during the dry season, and of course access the lake to graze towards that area. Between the sanctuary and the game corridor, we have recorded something in the region of about 320 different species of birds. We have the lake frontage that has its own birds and the waders, and then you have the plains, which is at about 6,000 meters elevation, which has of course have a huge population of birds. We are lucky enough that the land borders, especially the corridor, borders the two lakes. This is the freshwater lake, Naivasha, and of course on the northern end of Lake Naivasha is a little known lake by the name Lake Oloidian. The small alkaline lake has become a very important migration stopover for the lesser flamingos. And at the moment, we have anything in the region of 50,000 flamingos in there. 3/4 of the sanctuary boundary line is inhabited by small-scale farmers. And that on its own introduces and brings along its own challenges, one of which is human-wildlife conflict. There was investment put towards building a fence that is 42 kilometers long. It is 8-strand electrical fence. And we think this is very crucial because it stops the animals from going across the fence and destroying all the crop. And of course, to an extent, it does stop people equally coming in and interfering with the conservation efforts that we're putting in place. Besides having the fence that stops the animals going across and destroying the very source of their livelihood, we have engaged in on a very ambitious outreach program where we target mainly schools
At our schools, we have a large number of children, and we have already a regular policy where the children come and they come to our sanctuaries, they see the wildlife, and we believe so strongly in education that we have not only built a number of schools, both on our farm as well as off our farm in neighbouring communities, but we've also decided to encourage the children and to ask the education authorities to help us put wildlife onto the curriculum so that the young people of Kenya, the future of Kenya, is also more aware of the value we have in our wildlife and in our beautiful, diverse country, and the importance of looking after the environment.
Community ya Oserianito na hii kampuni ya LPF tuseme Oserian iko mahusiano mzuri sana. Nimepea sisi maji, nimetengenezea sisi shule, nimetengenezea sisi hospitali. Kwa hivyo hii kampuni ni kampuni mzuri sana kwa sisi community ya Oserianito. Kitu si nimeona kwa hii kampuni, nimelinda wanyama mzuri, haiharibu kishaka. Kwa hivyo sasa hii wanyama yetu nimeona nimesaidia sisi wanjirani sana. Kwa hivyo sasa msitu sasa mimi kwanza mimi hataki kuharibu msitu. Nataka tu kulinda wanyama mzuri. Kwa hivyo mimi nataka tu kampuni endelee tu mkuu na endelea mbele.
There is a future for wildlife. That is what I think is most important. Our corridors and this sanctuary do state by their very being and the success of them that there is a future for wildlife. Our sense is if we pave the way, we show there is a way, many others will follow, and that is going to happen, I'm very sure. We also know there are a number of other initiatives in Laikipia district, etc. I think where we were unique in is removing the cattle from the land. We felt that it's important to have a pure wildlife habitat.
One of the main challenges that we're facing at the moment is that it is not a truly balanced and self-perpetuating ecosystem, in the sense that our prey population has increased at a rate far too high for the few predators that we have in this place. We have a reasonable leopard population, which is obviously effective, a good hyena population, and we do also have a lion. Going forwards, we would want to introduce a predator force that is able to regulate the population in a very natural way. I mean, the whole essence here is to try and create a sustainable ecosystem. One of the things we would want to do is to introduce lions. For us to be able to successfully contain lions in here, especially when you think of them being introduced and growing in number, we do need to predator-proof. We do need to come up with mechanisms that are going to ensure that we retain the predators within the boundaries of this property.
One of the advantages of coming to Oserian is whatever you see it in an intimate, private experience. Added to that is Chui and Kiangazi, where you'd stay if you came here. When you come to Kiangazi, you're coming to a farmhouse, a home, where you'll experience that personal, homely touch. Everything is served like it would be done at home, with a special touch, a special Oserian touch, with rooms that have been made specifically to fit all the comforts that you would want in a farm place with a beautiful lake experience. Then there is Chui. Every detail has been done by hand. The woodwork and everything that has been in Chui gives you an African setting, but more so, the true African wildlife experience. Right in this conservancy, right next to animals, and Every evening, you can hear the lion roar. Then you can hear the hyena, the zebras, the warthogs, and all the other animals. It's a truly African and wildlife experience. When you come to us, you don't only enjoy your stay, you don't have an experience that you will talk about, but you know that you will be supporting Oserian in its conservancy issues. We need tourists to come in.